With the hot sun warming the perfectly surfaced asphalt that snakes through mile after mile of mountainous terrain with little to no traffic at all, this summer we have had perfect conditions on some of the finest roads that Southern California has to offer a sport bike rider. I've been riding the new 2016 Yamaha R1S and I am incredibly impressed. I've never been sold on the rider-aid electronics technology that most manufacturers spend countless hours developing with the intention of making us faster and safer riders. I was part of a decreasing number of old-school diehards, and we don't want a computer making decisions for us. You know the type, the "my traction control is my right hand" mindset. The 2016 Yamaha R1S has changed everything for me, and it all starts with that crossplan crankshaft motor. The crossplan design is not new, we've seen it on the R1 since 2009, but I don't think it gets the praise it deserves. The idea of the crossplan crankshaft in the R1S engine is to increase throttle response, drivability, and mid-range power by reducing inertia. This is done by placing the crank pins at 90-degree angles as opposed to the typical 180-degree angles to each other, so that each piston reaches its TDC at different times, maintaining crankshaft momentum. When you fire the R1S motor up, it sounds a little rough, as if one of the cylinders is misfiring. However, as the revs climb from idle, the motor sinks into perfect harmony and erupts into a symphony of horsepower around 6,000 RPM, where the mind-blowing mid-range kicks in and drives hard all the way to the red line. I love this engine. As if by magic, it combines the mid-range punch of a big displacement twin with the blistering top end of the inline-4. Power-wise, there is not much to talk about before 4,000 RPM, so if it is instant grunt you're after, look elsewhere. However, if you want to roll out of a corner and have the kind of mid-range power that's akin to a shot of nitrous, then you'll be hard-pressed to find a better package than the motor in the Yamaha R1S. At just under $15,000, the S Sport model is a little more modestly priced than the other two R1 models. One change made in the name of affordability is that the YZF R1S's connecting rods are made from steel instead of fracture-split titanium, so the R1S redline's slightly lower than the R1. Other lightweight parts such as the R1's magnesium oil pan and engine covers are now aluminum, and the titanium exhaust headers get changed for stainless steel. The R1S is also equipped with aluminum wheels instead of the magnesium units found on the standard R1 and track-spec R1M. The difference in weight between the R1 and S models is a mere 9 pounds per Yamaha. Although this would have an effect on track, on the street it makes a negligible difference. The only time you'll notice the difference is when you pull out your checkbook and pay up to $7,000 less than for the M model. The R1S chassis is superbly configured and no compromise has been made compared to the standard R1. So it comes with the same superb cab suspension, not the electronic Öhlins suspension from the M model, and the rear shock has both high and low speed rebound damping adjustment. The suspension is smooth, but very firm on the street. However, once on the open road, that stiff chassis translates to superb, agile handling that makes the R1 feel more like a 600 Supersport machine. It goes precisely where I want it to, with zero understeer when coming back hard on the throttle. The QUIZKSHIFTER is now optional, and that shaves off a few dollars, but with a gearbox as slick as the R1S's, you're not going to miss it much either. At the heart of the R1 is that magnificent electronics package that includes traction control, wheel-eye control, launch control, and Yamaha's exclusive slide control. The R1S has it all. I tried the different modes, but ultimately settled on maximum power 1, traction control 3, lift control 1 of 3, and slide control 1 of 3. Out on the open road, I was impressed to discover later on video that the R1S was laying long black lines of rubber from mid-corner exit to 60 feet down the straights. Yet the traction and slide controls work in such harmony, and so seamlessly, I had no idea from the seat. The R1S feels more like a 600cc supersport bike as I roll off the power, dab the brakes, and drop a gear into the next sharp corner. Exit the next corner in second gear and feel the gut-wrenching torque as the bike catapults you into third gear, all while the electronics take care of the messy job of keeping you sunny side up. The bike felt perfectly hooked up and, although some credit goes to the Bridgestone Batrax Hypersport S20 rubber, clearly the R1's electronics are amazing. Likewise, the R1 brakes are tremendous, with amazing precision at the lever. They inspire the confidence to carry more speed into a corner, and, oh boy, does this bike have speed. It's so good in fact that I am now an electronic rider aid convert, and may quite possibly find myself at the nearest Yamaha dealership explaining to the salesman why he should sell me the R1S. If you are considering buying something else, slow down. The 2016 Yamaha R1S must be an option.